What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 1:54 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States. I want to just update you on the latest information in Israel. The situation is continuing to deteriorate. The war is spreading quickly. So I want to update you with all the latest information that I have. I just want to mention that YouTube deleted two of my videos on Israel. They actually deleted my live stream from 2 days ago, and then they deleted a video on Friday. Okay. So I had to delete several videos and the live stream from last night as well, because I think they're just going through all of my Israel videos and trying to find something. So you're probably not going to see the stream from last night if you want to watch the replay, unfortunately. And I had to remove all my Israel updates up until the last one from yesterday. Okay, but I'm going to continue to do updates. But just wanted to let you know it looks like YouTube is going after any videos related to Israel now. Okay, so any of you guys out there posting videos on Israel, make sure you have good information, solid sources. They removed my videos because supposedly the footage that I was sharing was not current footage, it was old footage. And I was presenting it as if it were new footage. And I'm pretty sure that it was current footage, but according to them, it was old footage, so therefore it was misinformation. So as a result, I will not be sharing any footage at all related to this war going forward. Okay, I'm sorry. I just have to do that. Otherwise, they're going to give me a strike and I won't be able to post for a week. Okay, so you're not going to see any more footage. And, I might start to remove videos related to Israel periodically, okay, so I don't keep them up a long time. But we currently have two B 52s in the air right now, okay? These are nuclear bombers operated by the United States. We have one flying over the Midwest and one flying over the southeastern U.S. Um, and we also have a Nuke Sniffer plane that's airborne over the Midwest as well. And there was also an aerial refueler flying off the coast of Long Island. What you're looking at here is a screenshot taken from just about 2 hours ago showing the B 52 over Kansas, the Nuke Sniffer over Iowa, and then the aerial refueler doing loops off of Long Island. So there was definitely something off of Long Island there if there was an aerial refueler looping for a long time. We have some concerning information coming from the Korean Peninsula. There's an aircraft carrier strike group moving to the Korean Peninsula right now. And apparently, South Korea is concerned that North Korea is going to try to attack them. So I'm going to update you on that. There's a lot of U.S. military activity in the Korean Peninsula. There were a lot of reconnaissance planes flying over the Korean Peninsula last night, and there's a carrier strike group going to the Korean Peninsula right now. Okay, so carrier strike group near Israel and carrier strike group going to Korea. Okay, I want to just quickly mention some things that I talked about in my stream last night. For those of you guys who didn't see my stream, I'm very concerned about a global jihad being declared as this war progresses. So make sure you're carrying a self-defense tool with you 24/7. Okay, if you live in an area where it's legal to carry a self-defense tool, you need to be carrying it 24/7. You also need to be aware of your surroundings at all times, okay, because sleeper cells could get activated in the Western world. Okay, so make sure you're aware of your surroundings, make sure you train with your self-defense tool, and make sure you have it on you all the time. Okay, another thing, okay, if the US gets involved in Iran, it's not going to be a simple attack on Iran like Iraq. Okay, it's not going to be like a a 2 or 3 day bombing campaign, and they're not going to be able to do it with conventional weapons. The US is going to have to use limited nuclear attack options in order to destroy the Iranian military, okay, and destroy their nuclear facilities. They're going to have to use low yield nuclear weapons because conventional weapons, conventional warheads are not powerful enough to destroy all the bases that Iran has and all the bunkers, okay? So if the US does get involved and there is a war with Iran, we're not going to be talking about a minor, 2 or 3 day uh, bombing situation like in Afghanistan or in Iraq. This would be a massive, limited nuclear strike that they would have to do on Iran to fully cripple the Iranian military. Okay, if they try to use conventional weapons, it's going to be a problem because Iran has a lot of air defenses, and as soon as we take those air defenses out to try to get, let's say, fighter jets to go in or other things, um, Iran is going to know that we're going to be imminently attacking, and then they're going to retaliate by attacking Saudi Arabian oil fields, which would basically cause a worldwide oil crisis, and gas prices would skyrocket, and there would be rationing of fuel around the world. Okay, so the only option for the U.S. would probably be a limited nuclear strike on Iran with very low yield warheads to destroy all their bases and bunkers. Okay, a Tomahawk missile just doesn't have the power to destroy an entire base or an entire bunker. Okay, and same thing with air launched cruise missiles from fighter jets. You need heavy ordnance, guys. Okay, so nuclear weapons would really be the only feasible option if we did have to get involved with Iran. So keep that in mind. Okay, make sure you have a nuclear war survival plan. Make sure you have a fallout shelter if things escalate. I hope they don't, and I really don't want that to happen, but that's why we prepare. Here's another screenshot of the B-52 and also the Nuke Sniffer plane. This was about an hour and a half ago, right around 12:42 p.m., just after noon. And here's the other B-52 flying over Louisiana and Alabama. And we also have a P-8 Poseidon off the coast of Virginia Beach right now doing loops here, okay? And last night there was a combat Sentinel plane flying around Kaliningrad. And this is very concerning because if you watched my previous updates, I mentioned that Russia was reorganizing their Western military districts. And a lot of Russian military analysts are saying that that's because they're planning to go to war with the Baltics. Okay, so Russia in 2010, they merged all of the different military districts in the western part of the country into one big military district called the Western Military District. Now, Sergei Shoigu proposed to Putin to break that giant district up again to what it was before 2010 and to bring back the Leningrad military district and the Moscow military district. So basically now they've broken up that giant Western military district and they have a smaller one around St. Petersburg that's right next to the Baltics, okay? And a lot of military analysts are saying that this is to prepare for a possible war with the Baltic countries or Finland, okay? And now we have this combat Sentinel plane flying around Kaliningrad. You can see here it was doing this boomerang pattern along the Kaliningrad coast, and the U.S. Air Force only has 2 combat Sentinel planes. Okay, these planes provide high priority intelligence to the president and the chiefs of staff. Okay, so if one of these planes is flying in an area, it means that there's something serious going on, enough that the president and the chiefs of staff need to know about it right away. All right, so this combat Sentinel plane is flying around Kaliningrad. This is the second time in the last week or two that a combat Sentinel plane has flown around Kaliningrad, and they did this boomerang pattern both times along the Kaliningrad coast, which is where Russia has their Baltic fleet. Okay, so The president and the chiefs of staff are concerned about Kaliningrad right now. That's why they're having these planes fly around Kaliningrad. Here's a closer look. You can see it went all the way around Kaliningrad, and then it flew in this boomerang pattern near the Kaliningrad coastline. All right, so the president and the chiefs of staff had to request this mission, and this is the second of this type of mission in the last week or two. All right, and so it's very concerning, guys. Okay, something's brewing. We had a Nuke Sniffer plane last night take off from Qatar, and it flew all the way down to the southern tip of India and then flew all the way back, and it was flying along the Iranian coast and along the western coast of India. It went all the way down to Kerala and then turned around and came back. Very, very strange. I don't know why they would do this. I thought at first this was to monitor Iran, but then it went down all the way to the southern tip of India. Maybe it was because of that failed rocket launch in Pakistan. But if that was the case, why did they go all the way down to the southern tip of India? Very, very strange. I do know that these nuke sniffers can detect nuclear submarines in the water. Okay, and a couple of times it was flying really low. You can see some of these green colors here, which represent low altitude. So I don't know if this thing was trying to pick up if there were any nuclear subs operating in this area. And there was also an aerial refueler in the Strait of Hormuz, okay, doing loops last night. And look at all this reconnaissance activity over South Korea, guys. This is just absolutely insane. We had two RC-135 rivet joints. One of them flew along the North Korean border here, okay? And then there was also a Sentry, an E3 Sentry, and then also this MRTT aerial refueler. All right, so a lot of stuff going on in South Korea, and the carrier strike group is on its way to South Korea right now. We had Russian doomsday planes airborne last night. What's interesting is one of them went to Chelyabinsk, and Chelyabinsk is not far from Mount Yamantu. Okay, the Russian 223rd Flight Unit went to Chelyabinsk from Moscow. And then there was also an Ilyushin 96-300 that took off from Moscow this morning. And here you can see that plane landing in Chelyabinsk, okay, close to Mount Yamantu, which is a doomsday bunker, a nuclear war bunker in the Urals. Here we have Vladimir Putin's doomsday plane, the Tu-214 PU-SBUS. Very interesting. So last night it flew from Moscow to Ulyanovsk, and then it landed in Ulyanovsk. It was there for a couple of hours, and then it took off from Ulyanovsk, and it went back from Ulyanovsk to Moscow, and then from Moscow it went up to Murmansk, okay, which is very strange. So Putin's doomsday plane first went to Ulyanovsk, then it went back to Moscow, and then it went up to Murmansk. Murmansk is where the northern fleet is of the Russian Navy, okay? That's where they have 2/3 of their nuclear armed submarines. And here we have a Mexican Air Force plane heading towards Israel to evacuate Mexican citizens. Here we have NATO MRTT aerial refueler plane that was active in the Eastern Mediterranean. Okay, so NATO is already near Israel right now. They're in the Middle East, they're operating there. We also have a U.S. Strato tanker here that was heading towards the Eastern Mediterranean. So the Eastern Mediterranean is very, very active right now with U.S. and NATO forces. We have some Italian Air Force and Polish Air Force planes active right now going to and from Israel. Okay, so I want to just go through all these headlines. There's so many headlines, guys. It's insane. So right now at this hour, we have massive airstrikes underway in Tel Aviv. Hamas apparently launched a massive volley of rockets towards Tel Aviv. We have apparently at least 100 Israeli warplanes attacking Gaza right now. We have the Israeli army announcing that it is targeting areas of southern Lebanon with artillery, okay, trying to take out the Hezbollah forces. We have breaking news that Hezbollah has launched at least 12 missiles towards Israel, okay, maybe more. All right, so Hezbollah has officially started launching missiles towards Israel now. Okay, and this could be the point at which the U.S. gets involved. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but it looks like the U.S. is sending special forces into Gaza right now to rescue hostages. Okay, and this could be what gets Iran involved. Okay, but Hezbollah has launched a volley of missiles towards Israel. I'm hearing 12, but I can't confirm that with 100% certainty. So Hezbollah has already entered the conflict. We have an Israeli general saying that Israel has secured the border around Gaza and will now go on the offensive. We will have to change the reality in Gaza so that this never happens again, Brigadier General Dan Goldfuss said during a news conference. Okay. Very strong words there, guys. We will have to change the reality in Gaza so that this never happens again. That is just absolutely insane. Um, the Israeli army shelled the port of Gaza from the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so the Israeli army is trying to destroy the ports in Gaza. We have the Palestinian militants, the Hamas, threatening Israel, saying that if you don't stop bombing civilians, we will have to use other types of missiles for the first time. Okay, what those other types of missiles are, I have no idea, but they're threatening Israel, basically saying, stop bombing Gaza or we're going to use some other kind of missile. We have Donald Trump weighing in on the war. He said that the war in the Middle East will spread quickly. We have Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan criticizing Israel's blockade of Gaza, saying that cutting off electricity and water is against the Palestinians' human rights. He spoke at a joint news conference with Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer today. Erdogan criticized U.S. plans to send an aircraft carrier to the region, saying the deployment could lead to massacres. He said, and I'll quote exactly what he said: "What is the U.S. aircraft carrier doing in Israel? What is it coming to do? It will take down Gaza by striking the surrounding areas and start committing serious massacres." Guys, this is a NATO ally. Okay, Turkey is in NATO. They're an ally, and they're throwing the U.S. under the bus. Just absolutely insane. The Turkish Navy has sent a reconnaissance ship into the Suez Canal to monitor the situation. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff said, "We do not want the conflict in Israel to expand, and we call on Iran not to get involved in the crisis." Okay, so the U.S. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, okay, the top general in the U.S. warning Iran not to get involved. The Pentagon says that U.S. forces have arrived in Israel to begin carrying out a military operation in the Gaza Strip. U.S. Special Forces have arrived in Israel, specialized in hostage freeing operations, okay, because there could be American hostages there, all right? So they're probably sending in like Delta Force, Navy SEALs, all the tier one operators, they're sending them in. The Israeli army said that they do not rule out a joint operation with the U.S. Army if Lebanon joins the war. Okay, if Hezbollah or the Lebanese forces join the war, they do not rule out a joint operation with the U.S. Army. Okay, so this is just spiraling out of control, guys. Absolutely insane. We have word that Hamas has now started launching long-range Tufan rockets towards Ashkelon and various parts of Israel. The U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor Jonathan Viner said Iran is widely complicit in the Hamas attacks on Ukraine. Okay, so the Deputy National Security Advisor is blaming Iran, saying that they are complicit in the Hamas attacks on Israel. So you see where this is going, guys? All right, it's going for that giant nuclear strike on Iran. South Korea fears an attack from North Korea after the Hamas invasion of Israel. This is being reported by various news outlets. The USS Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier to arrive in Busan, South Korea this week. The nuclear-powered USS Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier will arrive at a key South Korean naval base later this week. Seoul's defense ministry said Tuesday in a major show of force against North Korean threats. Carrier Strike Group 5, which includes the aircraft carrier, an Aegis-equipped USS Shoop destroyer, and other warships, will enter the naval base in Busan, 320 kilometers southeast of Seoul, on Thursday for a 5-day visit, according to the ministry. Okay, from the South Korean Ministry of Defense. Okay, apparently just a 5-day visit, but I don't know if I believe that. But apparently an Aegis destroyer is showing up. The Aegis destroyers are missile defense warships. Okay, they're warships with missile defense interceptors. Okay, they're like a Patriot missile on a warship. Okay, but they're actually better than the Patriot missile. They have a longer range. They can intercept ballistic missiles better than a Patriot missile can. So that just tells you right there what you need to know. If the U.S. is moving not only a carrier strike group, but an Aegis destroyer to the Korean Peninsula, that's pretty concerning. South Korea, Japan, and the U.S. conducted trilateral naval exercises for the first time in 20 years off the southeastern coast of Jeju in Japan on Monday and Tuesday to strengthen their ability to respond to North Korean threats, according to Seoul's defense ministry. Okay, the first time in 7 years that South Korea, Japan, and the U.S. have conducted trilateral naval exercises. Okay, and I want to mention something also. If you remember earlier this year, right around the new year, the South Korean defense minister requested from Biden that South Korea begin some kind of like a nuclear sharing program with the U.S. in the sense that U.S. nuclear forces would be stationed in South Korea, and South Korean fighter pilots would be trained in the deployment of U.S. nuclear weapons. Okay, so things are just really escalating, guys. Apparently, we have thousands of Palestinians gathered at the Rafah border crossing in Egypt in an attempt to escape the relentless bombing campaign in Gaza. So far, Egypt has been very strict and has made it clear that it will not allow Palestinians into Egypt. 2 Egyptian workers were injured in the Israeli bombing of Gaza. Okay. The UN is calling on Israel to carry out its military operation in Gaza in accordance with international law. And they're saying that the total siege of Gaza is prohibited under international law. Okay, that's what the UN is saying, that Israel can't do a total siege of Gaza, that's prohibited. Okay, so the UN is going against Israel basically, and saying that they're violating international laws. Chevron has halted gas production from an offshore gas platform in Israel, okay, right off of the coast of Israel in the eastern Mediterranean. All right, Chevron was told by Israel to shut down the Tamar offshore natural gas platform because of safety concerns. Okay, the World Health Organization is calling for the opening of a humanitarian corridor to Gaza, and apparently they're already working on this issue with regional partners. The Lebanese media reports that Hamas officials had informed Hezbollah and other allies that their missile array is intact and capable of lasting long enough. Okay, so Hamas says that they still have a lot of missiles left. Hamas also confirmed that it is ready for any ground invasion by the Israeli army. We have reports coming in that apparently a senior Hamas official, Zachariah Abu, was killed during IDF strikes in the Gaza Strip. Apparently in Syria, there's pro-Iranian militias, including Hezbollah, that have sent forces to southern Syria near the border with Israel. This was reported by Al Jazeera. Or Al Jazeera. So basically, Israel is being attacked or about to be attacked from all sides. Okay, Hamas, Hezbollah, and then you have pro-Iranian militias in southern Syria. Okay, so this is just quickly escalating, guys. Okay, we have reports in Israel that grocery stores are enforcing a rationing policy on water, eggs, bread, and other goods due to panic buying. Okay, so Israeli grocery stores rationing food. Okay. Palestinian media is reporting that Israeli troops have invaded the West Bank city of Nablus and fighting is currently underway. We have information that the U.S. Navy's USS Bataan amphibious assault ship is currently cruising in the Gulf of the Suez Canal, okay, or the Gulf of Suez. Um, we also have breaking news that apparently 11 American citizens were killed during this situation in Israel during the initial attack, and there could be many held hostage. This was confirmed by the U.S. President Joe Biden. He said that our citizens may also be kidnapped. Okay. We also have breaking news that the Israeli government is going to try to form a national unity government. Okay. So the Israeli government is going to try to form like one giant government without political parties because of the emergency situation. According to the Pentagon, Iran participated in the preparations for Hamas's attack on Israel. Israeli authorities have officially cut the water supply to Gaza. So this is all the latest information that I have, guys. Okay. We also have breaking news that the government of Jordan has decided to open its airspace for U.S. Air Force aircraft to provide military support to Israel. Okay, so Jordan is opening its airspace for U.S. Air Force aircraft. Okay. Um, guys, just get prepared. Things are really crazy. We have a lot of Janet flights going to Area 51 today. I tracked at least 6 Janet flights this morning. Here you can see 2 of them going to Area 51, and we have several going to the Tonopah test site. Okay, here's a zoomed in look of where one of them was landing to pick up people in Palmdale, California, Palmdale Regional Airport, which is near Edwards Air Force Base. That's where they pick up the workers that work at Area 51. One of the many places. They go to Vegas, they go to different airports, and they pick up the workers, and then they fly them into Area 51, and then they fly them back. Okay. That's how they get to work. If you're working at Area 51, here's 2 flights that went to and from Area 51. You can see Papoose Lake here. So a lot of activity at some of our black sites. But that's pretty much the latest information that I have, guys. If you see missing videos, it's because YouTube either deleted them or I deleted them for just taking precautionary measures. Okay, so I don't get a strike. But I'm going to continue to update you guys. I'll do another update later on this evening. I'm not sure if I'm going to be going live or not tonight. I might take the night off and just do a video update. We'll see. But I'm going to continue to update you on this situation. So stay tuned to my channel for continuing coverage of this situation going on. It's like all hell is breaking loose across the world, guys. So just get prepared as best as you can. And just remember that, everything is going to be okay. God has your back, and just trust God and everything will be fine. So take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.